Okay, so my name is Katie, and I'm lucky enough to teach next door to our wonderful host. And I'm so thankful that you all came out here to watch me do things that I really am absolutely awful at, speak to adults, and talk about my feelings. So this should be really fun. And I'm actually super nervous about telling the story, but it's something that means a lot to me. So mine's gonna have like a little different vibe than the last two, and I will probably look my phone a lot so that I like keep it together. This story centers around a student that I taught last year. Here you go already. And he was in my homeroom, and this student was literally everyone's best friend. He could meet someone, and then they would be best friends. They'd be like, brother, brother, and they were just best friends. His smile lit up the room. His laughter was like echoing in the lunchroom. Like everyone loved him, and that's not just me saying that because obviously I care about him. Out of the 15 superlatives that students voted on at the end of the school year, he won 3 of the 15, and there were 120 students. So he was a popular student and just genuinely wanted to like bring joy to others. The problem was I taught him at the end of the day. So he's in my homeroom. We always ended the last class of the day was your homeroom teacher. So by the time he got to me at 2:50, he was like worn out from just bringing joy to the world. Just couldn't handle it. So he'd come into my class and be like, hey, Miss Speer. And I was like, hey, how are you? And then 5 minutes into my class, he'd be like, just out to the world. And so I tried everything. I would call his name out in front of class. I would walk over, I would tap him. I would like make him stand with a clipboard, and somehow he'd figure out how to like be leaned up against the wall and kind of look like he's awake but still asleep. And then I moved his seat directly to the left of me, and every 1 minute I would just poke him. And over time, he just like was immune to my pokes. So I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. You're not passing my class, but you're brilliant. So like we have to fix this, right? So my solution was I had to start calling home. So his dad was great, and he would just like be ready to answer the phone during my class. I was like, listen, I'm gonna call if he puts his head down. So the second his head would start to go, I'd be like, nope, we're calling Dad. Contact list comes out, boom, boom, I'm calling. And he hated it. It was the only thing that I could get to work, and it was like, he was like, oh, you're the worst, you're petty, you're lame, I hate you, all of that, da-da-da-da-da. Like walking away, like mobbing off while I'm trying to call his dad. I'm like, wait, come back, like here's your dad on the phone. Put on speaker, he's down the hall, but you can still talk. And so it was kind of a mixed feelings for me. So I felt like it worked and it mattered, but I also felt like he kind of hated me. So I keep doing this. Last April, so about a year ago, I actually called his dad 4 days in a row. And he was just like so mad at me. But then the next progress report came out, and he was passing my class. And that was the first time in probably 2 months that he had passed my class. So I'm like, okay, all right, like I can do this. I can go home every day and feel like he hates me, but like it's working. And so at my school we do this thing called shout-outs, and if you're unfamiliar with that, it's kind of what it sounds like. So we end every day on a positive note. So the students have the floor, and they shout out someone in their homeroom. So typically it's like, I want to shout out blah, blah, blah for giving me a pencil, or like, I want to shout out the whole class for like not going crazy in math today. But this particular shout-out, he's like, I shout out. I'm like, great, you have the floor. And he said, Miss Speer, I would like to shout you out for always calling home. Even though I say that I hate it, I know that you do it because you love me, and I know that you do it because you want to make a difference, and that means a lot to me. And so I was like, okay, it's working, it's okay, he cares about me. So that happens, and it's important to note that I am like a very small part of his educational journey, and there are a lot of other teachers who are like super amazing that are a part of this. But so like the school year goes on, and he passed all of his class because he had struggled a little bit here and there in several classes, and it's time for promotion. And he's in my homeroom, and we always gather in the homerooms to like prep for promotion and go over the details one more time. And he shows up in suit pants, the nicest dress shoes, this beautiful suit vest, and this bow tie, and a bright yellow button-up. And he by far looks like the best in the whole class. And he's like going around like, he's like, Miss Speer, take a picture of all the boys. Miss Speer, take a picture of the whole class. Miss Speer, just take a picture of me because I look pretty. You do. So I have probably like 45 pictures of him from that night. And so the night comes to an end. It's, you know, all the 8th grade promotion stuff. And I told you I was not good at talking about feelings. And so like, it comes to the end and I'm literally just like standing on the sidewalk waiting for people to get picked up and I'm just like sobbing. I'm like waving to students. I'm like, bye. And he keeps coming up to me and he's like, Miss Speer, you good? You okay? And I was like, I don't know, I'm not sure. And he gives me a hug and he's like, everything's gonna be great. Like, thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for being great. You're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. It's gonna be good. And he gives me another hug and he's in the last group of students to leave, because it's always the students all year who say they can't wait to leave that are the last to like linger around. And you're like, I thought you wanted to leave this place, and here you are 2 hours after you're supposed to get picked up, just hanging out with your teachers. So he walks off like with the last group of students. And so I would love for that to be like the end of this story. You know, I like motivated him, or was part of the team that motivated him, and like he goes off and then does all of these wonderful things that I know that he was supposed to be able to do. But unfortunately, 3 weeks into summer, he was killed in an act of gun violence. And so that story came to an end. And so for me, I think that although the story is not happy or funny necessarily, I think it's something that I want to share because every day, like, I am pushed to be a better person and a better teacher because of Dewan, and I know that like the little things matter a lot. And so I'm reminded in his memory, like sometimes I do the tough things, or I go the extra mile, or I make those calls that like I really didn't want to make because I know that I'm going to hear it from the student because I know that matters. And I like want to continue to be that person. So like to end it all, shout out to all the teachers who do that every single day because it's hard to make the hard phone calls. It's hard to go the extra mile. It's really hard to go home and feel like you're not like on their side, but it matters. It makes a difference. And then ultimately, like shout out to Dewan because he makes me a better person every single day. And like even though he's not with us anymore, like I know that like my life is drastically different because